I'd be very careful if I were you if you were using happiness as your compass to navigate through life. I'll share a personal story with you so it makes more sense, but we all know, first off, that we can't chase feelings. It's like when people say, I don't feel motivated. You can't go based off of you feeling motivated. It has to be due to discipline. In the latter part of 2020, I had to move out of my apartment, and I ended up finding a house that I could rent a bedroom out of, and it ended up being with an elderly lady. Where I ended up moving, where she lives, is in a very prominent neighborhood on Miami Beach. It's not just any regular neighborhood. It's a private island that has gated security. You know, there's lots of millionaires, tons of beautiful modern houses, yachts, everything. There were many days where I would run next door over to Star Island and run around Star Island and come back. On the outside, it looks like I'm living this grandiose type of life, right? Where I'm walking around and who knows who you're gonna pass on your walk, or whenever I go to Star Island when I'm running, who I'm gonna pass on my run. But it was very far from luxury, I'll tell you, because this lady, she is, at that time, she's around 80, 81 years old, but she made it very, very hard. And you know, we always talk about, like, don't let people put their stress on you. And I was that way too. You have to be very mindful of your energy and all this woo-woo type of stuff, right? And yes, I would try to have empathy as much as possible, thinking about what her situation looks like. What is it like to be in her shoes? But eventually, all of it just completely weighed on me, on top of having to deal with my own life stuff of trying to build my business back up from, you know, when it took a hit during the pandemic and from all my health issues. And I want my own place again. I want a place of peace. I want my sanctuary. After being there for almost a year, I finally left, and I ended up taking an apartment that I knew was way above my means. But I subscribe to the new age messaging of, if you were given the opportunity, then, you know, the universe will make it happen. The money will show up. The money did not show up. And not only that, would you know that mold ended up showing up underneath the sink? Yes, mold is chasing me. Then the homeowner that I'm renting from is completely irresponsible. I tell her that, you know, the oven's not working. There's many things that ended up not working. So she says, okay, well, if you can take it for just a little while I get my maintenance guy to get there, then we'll go ahead and take some of the monthly rent off. So I was like, okay, cool. None of it ever got fixed. I ended up having to adapt to the situations. But at the end of, I think, maybe like 8 months, I ended up having to move out because I couldn't afford it. Then to end it all is that the landlord didn't end up giving me my security deposit back because she said that I misunderstood her about not needing to pay all of the rent each month, even though I provided her with receipts. This entire time, I have stayed in touch with the elderly lady because I still take her out on the weekends to run errands. We go have lunch, we stay in touch. When she finds out about my situation, she invites me to come back to live with her. But now she doesn't have a room. It's only the living room, which does have a bed in it. So I end up moving back to her house. So now I'm going back to the same house that I ran from in the first place, but only now I do not have a room. I don't have the privacy. I don't have the walls. So now that situation that I was running from before, you know, the stress of listening to her talk about her problems every day, I am now openly exposed to it on a daily basis. I will admittingly tell you guys that I was not a nice person. I let the messaging of the world talk about how I needed to focus on my mental happiness. I need to shield people who were, you know, putting their energy, the weight of their problems on me. At this time, I'm not realizing that there's a lesson in this and that I have not picked up on the lesson. Therefore, that's why it keeps getting worse and worse for me. Although I am still being provided for, I still have a roof over my head. I still have food to eat. And it's not like this place that I'm living in is like somewhere in a bad neighborhood. No. Why am I being so spoiled and why am I complaining? It's because I was letting the emotional tests get to me. I was letting the world, the messaging of what's toxic and what's not toxic get to me. I let it fill up my head until the revelation finally came to me. There is something deeper here. I am not paying attention to what my purpose is to be here. I'm letting my emotions guide me. And I keep running due to the fact that I'm not happy, that the situations are not making me happy. I finally realized that, you know what, Wendy, you are an ox. You have the armor of God. He created you for this. And if you just stick to the situation, you don't know what your blessings are come from this. And then again, the other revelation is, no wonder my business isn't growing, is because I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing. in terms of I am there with that lady for a reason and I need to see that through. I finally realized that, I was being provided for with everything while I was there. It was when I let my emotions guide me, be my compass, that everything just went completely off kilter. So I'm going back to that situation, the end of December, before the new year, to see, okay, did I finally get my lesson, God? Am I supposed to be here? I'm gonna see if that's what the lesson is. I'm completely convicted in the fact that that is the whole purpose that I'm supposed to be there, is to help take care of this lady. And she mentions it multiple times. You're such a big help whenever you're here. But again, I just tell her, listen, I can't take on your stress every day. I'm not nice by telling her that. Now that I've gotten back to having a more intimate relationship with God, rather, should I say, this is the most intimate relationship that I've had on God, like needing to rely on Him for everything. I know now that I can go back to that situation and trust and believe that I have the armor, that anytime that I feel the weight of her stress or anything like that, I need to just pray about it, pray for the strength. Go to Him when I need the spiritual encouragement, and let's see what happens. Because there is some reason my life has been a living hell ever since the pandemic and I moved in with that lady. Not saying again that it's due to her. There is just some lesson there that I am not getting. I know it was long and it was more so meant for YouTube, but hopefully at least maybe just one or two people listen to it. And those one or two people that have listened to this, I hope that it has maybe helped you in some way. And while you're at it, go follow me on YouTube, because that's where I really want to grow at. But I will keep you guys posted on everything. We'll see if my life changes, if my business changes. We'll see what happens. And who knows even how long it will take for it to change.